Hello everyone, welcome you all for today's session. Today we are going to discuss event-driven architecture using Azure Event Grid. I am your host Abhishek Shukla, a certified Azure architect. The topic of the today's session is event-driven architecture using Azure Event Grid. This particular session will follow a hands-on also, so be focused.
Event grid is basically used for event driven architecture, and it consists of event producers that generate a stream of events and event consumers that listen for that, right? And events are delivered in nearly real time, so customer can respond immediately to event as they occur. Okay, suppose there is a safe house, or there is a house, and suddenly it got fired or it gets some smoke. And if it is getting fired or getting smoked and you are getting the notification after 1 hour or 2 hours, then you are responding, then there is no mean of having such type of architecture, right? It should be nearly real time. As soon as sensors detected that there is a smoke, they should alert, right? And as soon as the receiver getting alert, he should respond. Okay. So the common implementation pattern for event-driven architecture are like single event processing. Means you will receive just one event and you will process it. It may be complex event processing, means events may be complex, it may be the sequence one, then you can use it, or it may be a stream of events which you have to process. Okay, these stream of events may be of the similar type or they may have be of the different types. So how event-driven architecture works? Event-driven architecture says that there will be the event producers, those who are generating the events.
Mm,
They may be any type of application. They may be application within the Azure itself. They may be a custom application. Events may be generated by Azure services, or it can be generated by your custom applications. Right? How you can say custom application? Suppose you are creating a real-time AI-based solution, and in a crowd of peoples, you identified that okay, someone is not a genuine person, right? Or you can it may be an antisocial element, whatever. As soon as your AI models identifies, right, you need to alert the authorities that okay, this person has been identified into the crowd, so that they can take the necessary actions, right? So producers may be of any it may be of the any kind. They can just produce the event, and they have to send their event to a mechanism. Means they have to ingest their event something, right? And once
mm,
they will ingest their events, there should be event consumers. Those who will consume those events or those who will listen those, right? Now it is not necessary that event ingestion mechanism will be for the similar type of event. You can submit different types of events also, right? So event producer may be of different type, event consumers may be of the different type. What is Azure Event Grid? So to create event-driven application in Microsoft Azure offers a service that is called Event Grid. It allows you to easily build applications with the event-based architecture, right? So as I said, as soon as event get generated, it get ingested into the Azure Event Grid and it will push to the target recipients of your event lists. Okay. It has built-in support for events coming from Azure services like storage blobs, resource groups, or various other Azure services. Okay. So what are the services which can send events to Event Grid? So they are like Azure subscription, custom topics, Azure Event Hub, IoT Hub, Azure Media Services, Resource Group Management Operations, Service Bus, Azure Blob Storage, General Purpose V2 account storage. So this is like something, suppose someone has uploaded a file, right? Then
right.
you should immediately get notification that file has been uploaded. And based on that notification received, you may have to take appropriate action. If you will see the architecture diagram of Azure Event Grid, so you can see the left hand side, these are the event sources which are supported. So most of them are from Azure services, right? But if you will see the down, that's custom topics. Means you can create your own custom applications which can also send events to event, right? And at the right hand side, you can see that what can be used as a event handler or event listener or event consumer. So Azure function can act as a event listener or handler. You can use logic apps. You can use Azure automation accounts. You can use webhooks. Those webhooks may be created within the Azure itself or outside of the Azure. Queue storage, hybrid connections. Hybrid connection means maybe your event listeners or processors are in some other cloud model or in on-premise. As well as you can create Event Hub also as event handlers or event listeners. So what are the naming conventions? What are the various standard concepts of Azure Event? So Azure Event Grid has events. Events means what happened, a phenomena that occurs for a very small amount of time. Event source, where it has occurred. Okay, someone has uploaded something into a blog. A antisocial face has been identified in a crowd. Someone has uploaded a malicious script, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or any kind of, okay, that like if it is a smoke sensors, then okay, sensors has detected some smoke and notification has been sent. Then topics. Topics means the endpoint where your event publishers will publish your events. There should be one endpoint, right?
Right.
Then event subscriptions. Event subscriptions means the mechanism or the endpoint or built-in mechanism which is used to route the events. Okay. If there are 100 event subscriptions or 100 event listeners, then it is not necessary that each and every event will go to all the listeners. No, it will go only to the designated subscribers or designated listeners. Okay. Then
Yes.
event handler, the app or service reacting to the event. Okay. So now let me give you a real life example. One I have given you as just like face identification by using artificial intelligence. Suppose the other one is a employee is joining office. You are suppose you are going to join a new office. Right? As soon as your joining formalities will be completed, what a company has to provide to you. There are multiple things like company has to prepare your visiting cards, right? Company has to procure or allocate a laptop or desktop to you.
Mm.
He may have to order a named t-shirt for you, right?
Right.
Okay. So now you can think that event is just one. Someone has joined the company, right? And three
Mm.
different activities need to be happened. And if you are saying that, okay, I would like to automate all this process. Someone has joined and here is his details, right? Name is XYZ. T-shirt size is L, XL, double XL or 3XL.
Mhm.
Okay. His name and designation and office address is this. All these kind of information. As soon as this event has submitted to your event grid will push this event to further the listeners and they will process this particular event as per their business logic or as per their requirement. Okay. Similar event is submitted to all three. One will do, okay, procure a t-shirt for this much length having a name print on it with company logo, right? Second one will say, okay, submit this information further to our publishers who will publish the visiting card. Third will say, okay, inform the IT logistic team to allocate or procure a desktop or laptop for this particular resource. And here is the details of that resource who has just joined. Right?
Right.
So you see that there will be the sources. They will ingest their event to the event grid topics. And on the right hand side, event handlers will subscribe those events. Now, subscribe those event means where event subject line is this, or event is this specific type, like new employee joined. Okay, there can be event employee joined or employee resigned. If employee joined, you have to do the things in a different way. When an employee is resigning, you have to do things in a different way. So each and every event must have a predefined schema, right? It is not like that you can send any information to event grid. No, it should have in proper schema. So event schema must have a topic. Topic means the endpoint where you are going to send the event. Subject of your event: fire, smoke detector, employee resigned, employee joined, or you can say bank transaction failed, shipment cancelled, kind of thing, right? Or document uploaded having this particular name. Then there should be an ID of the event. It will be the string. Event type, that what kind of event it is. So you can define this event type, as well as event time when the event has occurred. Now, the actual message or the actual data which event will carry, this is the data object. And this will be unique for every event. I am not saying unique, but it may be the same, but this will be the actual data on which the listeners will work. Okay. If I am saying employee has joined, it should have employee ID, right? Employee has resigned, it should have employee ID. If we are saying face identified, it should have that, okay, we have identified this face, this is the face ID, and these are the details, right? If it is smoke detected, so it must have the sensor ID, right? So that we can identify, okay, smoke detected, but where? Is it in room 1, room 2, room 3, or in just to the next road of your premise? Right? Document uploaded. So document uploaded, but where it is uploaded? It must have some relevant data. Then there must be a data version of your event as well as metadata version. So this is the sample schema. This is the sample schema for an event generated by a blob storage, right? So whenever some operation happens, it says, yes, a blob has been created or generated. So you can see top 4 and the bottom data version. They are the similar, right? But onto the data, they have the API, like which API has been called, what is the E tag, what is the storage diagnostic, what is the client ID who has requested, what was the request ID, what are the content type which were produced there, right? As well as what is the URL of the blob. Okay, now we talks about the security of this event, right? So there are 3 types of authentication when you are using event listeners with your event grid. So one is webhook event delivery. So event grid will send HTTP post request to an endpoint of your choice. Means wherever you have created that webhook, you have to associate it. But you have to provide the ownership of that webhook. Okay. It is not like that I created a REST endpoint and given to you and you said, okay, I will use it. No. You have to provide the ownership. How you will provide the ownership? Very first event, when you register your event listener with your event grid, it will first send a very specific event, right? And that is subscription event. In that event, there will be a URL. And if you are the owner of that webhook, you must have to encode that URL. So that system will identify that, yes, this webhook is a genuine webhook. Right? Otherwise, what will happen? Anyone can attach their webhooks or endpoints as a listener to your event, and this may kind the security breach. Right now, Event subscriptions. So user role-based access control to ensure that only a designated user or the person who has satisfactory or necessary role-based access control will be able to add subscribers or subscriptions to your Azure Event Grid. So what is the permission required? That person must have Microsoft.EventGrid event subscriptions/write permissions. Okay. Then the third type is custom topic publishing. So it is like you can use shared access signature or key based authentication to publish your event to event grid. Any doubt in this?
Mm.
Now, as I say that there may be 100 or there may be n number of listeners, and it is not necessary that all the events will go to all the listeners. No. You can use filtering at event grid level. So you can filter on by using the event type, by using the subject, whether it's begin or ends with some sort of string, or you can say the filter. So you can say that filter is you are including the event types, means you are attaching a event handler, and you are saying that okay, on this event handler will only listen where the resource write is getting failed and resource write is getting success.
Okay.
Okay, not other like smoke detected, person identified, or blob updated, etc. Now, this will listen only these two types of events.
By type.
Yeah. So it's the responsibility of the event grid that only send these two events to this particular listener. Okay. Now, if you are going to filter it based on the subject, so you can say that subjects begin with, and you can define a URL or a string, and you can say okay, subject ends with. Again, you can define a string like .jpg. So if someone is uploading the multiple images, your event will process only those images that having the extension of .jpg. Okay. If you will talk about the advanced filters, so advanced filters, you can define the operator type like greater than, less than, and you can define some key value like okay, this data key has a value of 5, or if a string contains these types of value. But these filtering operation affect the costing also. So here we are onto the Azure portal, and let me create a Azure event grid first for you. Then we will work with the lab. You can search event grid, select event grid topics, create a event grid topic, and select the resource group. So let me create a new resource group, AZ204, and today is 23 July. Let's have a unique name for this. So AZ204 event grid, and select the region. So East US. If you will go to the next and advanced, you have to select that what kind of schema this event grid will support. So ideally you should use event grid schema, but if you would like, you can use custom input schema also, as well as cloud event schema version 1.0. But we will follow this event grid schema, and then you can hit review and create. So let this deployment done. Till now we have created only till now we have created only Azure topic, event grid topic. Later on we will create a Azure event subscription, And we will use custom.NET code for producing an event. Let me go to the resource. And right now you can see that you have created this event grid topic, but you don't have any event subscription associated with it. So if you will see the event subscription, we don't have any event subscription. And this is the endpoint of your event grid topic where your event publishers will submit the event. Create a event listener. So we have already created this event grid here. So event grid topic has already been created. Now we will deploy a event grid viewer web application, and we will do same as mentioned into this lab. So let me again go to portal.azure.com. And we will select app service. We'll create a new app service. And we will use the same resource group. And here we will give the name like this. You can provide any name. You can provide any name. It's not like that. Then we will use the Docker container. Okay, its name is not available. Is at 201 23 July. We will use Docker container. We'll use East US. Plan is we will keep everything as default. And onto the Docker side, we will select Docker Hub. And we'll use this Docker image to create a application that will listen to our events, which we will publish to this event grid topic. So let this will be created. Once this will be created, we will go and create an event grid subscription, and the sample application provided by Microsoft has both the capabilities. So we will use the sample application URL to create a event grid subscription. It will take a little bit time because it's a Docker container deployment onto this web app. So it might take some time. Yeah, so it's done. Go to the resource. And let me browse this. So you can see that's an Azure event grid viewer, and right now we don't have any event published here. So how you have to create a listening UI. So listener UI you can create by this. So this will be your base URL, and you have to add this to your URL here. This will only to create a listening endpoint, right? And just copy it. Okay. Later on, it's not required to use. Now we have a listener URL. So go back to our Azure event grid, and you have to go to the event subscription. Let me give this is a name, AZ204 event subscription. Currently, I am not doing any type of filtering, right? And here I need to type my, I need to select that what kind of listener I have. So I have a webhook kind of list, and I need to provide the endpoint URL here. Okay, confirm selection. And as soon as I will hit add, I will receive an event here. See, and this is a very specific type of event, that is subscription validation. And within the subscription validation, you have to echo this URL. If you are doing same thing by using programmatically, you are creating something, you can do this mechanism into your program also. But this is a manual webhook, so you have to copy this URL and open a new browser. System will identify that yes, you are the owner, or this webhook is a validated one, and this will get edited into your subscription. You can see this has been added. Right now you have not published any event here. So let's create a specific event publisher, and then we will submit event to this event grid topic, right? So subscription validation event you have seen, right? Let's now, to send this event, you must have this access key, right? So you have to use this access key as well as your event grid topic endpoint, so that you can send this data to. So let's go to here onto our lab. Okay, so let me open the Visual Studio Code. And we already have the solution created, right? And into your program.cs, necessary code has been written by calling all this necessary nugget packets, etc. You have to only provide your topic endpoint and topic key. Okay, so go back and copy. This is your key. So let me copy this. Use any of the key. Why Microsoft provides two keys is because if somehow one key is compromised or you are changing this one key, then for meantime you can use second key. And go to the here, and it's your topic endpoint. So copy this also. Right. So here you can see that what we are doing into this code. So let me Control S and terminal, and we have .NET build. So this application is successfully built. Everything will get resolved, right? So everything has been resolved now. Zero error, zero warnings. Build has been done successfully. Now here you see into this code that you have defined the endpoint. Okay, and here you are creating the data part of your event. And into the data part, we are defining the subject of the event, right? New employee joined. What is the event type? Employee.registration.new. Data version, and here it is the actual data. Right? And we are going to submit two events. So let me submit this. Meantime, I need to open this also, so that we can see that as soon as the events will be arrived here, we will see it. So go back to terminal, right, and .NET run. So you can see that it will publish the events. See, events are published in near real time, right? Let me try to publish it again. But here you can see it's running on my PC. Event grid and event listener is hosted onto the cloud, but it's near real time. Okay. If I would like to change the event type here, so employee, say resignation. Okay. and it's a old employee, you can say. So you can see this has been changed here, right? Now, what is the event? What is the data in event you have? So now let me remove all this. Okay, so I am clearing all these events. Okay, and I will go and modify the subscription on basis of certain filters. So I gone here and into this, let me do a filtering here. Right now I have not defined any event type, but now I am defining the event type. Okay, and I will hit a save. This time I will submit 2 events. This time I will submit 2 events, but only one events will be there. That we have received only one event, but I fired 2 events. First event published, second event published. If I would like to do another filtering on basis of subject, I can do it based on subject also, right? So I can say subject start with employee resigns, employee joined. Subject ends with, maybe either you can provide the end with or you can't. If it is a case sensitive, you can put it as a case sensitive also, and you can also do the advanced filtering here. Clear?
Thanks everyone for listening this today's session. If you want to reach me, you can reach me on my email address